What's up, peeps and pirates? It's been some time since I filmed. The last time was in Luang Prabang, then we took a 24-hour bus and came all the way here to Hanoi, and that already is 3 weeks in the past. And this video is about if it even makes sense to stay in Hanoi for a longer time and how it is to actually live in Hanoi. I want to talk about in general why every traveler should consider staying in one place for a longer time, even though it may be underrated. And now that you've seen where we live, I'd like to show you our neighborhood, but before that, I'd like to show you how the center of Hanoi actually looks like. This is where we go out, this is where we live. Like, it's funny like this. How do you even call that? How do you call that?
No idea. Gate.
This thingy here, this gate, I think it's super cool. Like, I only seen that in movies and films. We don't have that in Germany. We actually never have that in no state we've ever been. Looks gangster, doesn't it? And this is the alley we live in. We're super happy we've chosen this location. It's a little bit off the center. It's a little bit slightly off the old quarter where the main attractions and everything for the sightseeing and tourist stuff is. It's the first time since India that we are in a place where it's comparatively as hectic as it is in India. And what is happening here is actually comparatively calm to the center. Where we are right now, not so many people are speaking English. Most of them just speak Vietnamese. In general, it seems to be the case that people in Vietnam rather speak very, very good English or none. But there are a lot of reasons we've actually have chosen this place and to stay here for a longer time. And the main reason for it is just that we were looking for a place to actually live for some time. Not to see and explore things, but to live for some time. Which also means that you need a place to... I just missed the place. I've just... What is it? Yeah, I just... like, that was what I wanted to show. This... Here is one of our most favorite cafes. We like to work a little bit, and I have to calm my voice because there are no traffic noises anymore. Coffee in Vietnam is awesome. If you're intending to stay longer for some time or live somewhere, you actually need a place to work. Our room is not too big. In general, all the stays we've seen in Hanoi seem to be, well, I don't know if you say narrow, maybe they're just small, maybe just tiny, whatever, but there are kind of advantages working in a cafe. First, the Wi-Fi usually is faster in the cafes than in your stay. Second, when you're off the center, cafes are very, very calm and quiet, except for people vlogging in here. That's one of our main working places, and that's the other one. Let me tell you a little something about coffee. This is coconut coffee. That's probably my most favorite, because there are also other coffee variations in Vietnam, like egg coffee or capana, which is coffee with sweet milk. That's probably the most basic version. And this one, it's Vietnamese coffee, which is very slowly dripped from what I understand. I'm not a coffee expert, you know. I once tried it pure, without any milk, without anything, and it's... So you actually need a little bit of sweetness or milk in there. And this one is with coconut milk. Usually they all serve it in plastic, but we always ask them to give us mugs, which is cool. But this time they screwed it up with the plastic straw, and I actually don't even like to drink from those, because I think that it tastes better when we use the ones we have, which is metal or bamboo, and it really depends on how good the waiter or the waitress speaks English. Sometimes they understand it, sometimes they don't. But culture-wise, they do not really understand why we try to avoid plastic. For them, it's normal. Like, even on the market, they sometimes are really chasing us to give us plastic bags because they don't understand why we would not carry it in a plastic bag. Yeah, that work. we are packing up. It wasn't too much of a work day today. Actually, we just sorted out pictures, which is crucial at the moment. Why? I'll explain at the very end of the video. For now, we're moving on to another major part of our day, but before that, did you see that? Like, whoops. The first day I stepped in here, like someone should cover that up, someone should fix that. Next major part of the day, watch it. We are on our way, on the hunt for food. We're both veggies. It's not that easy to find vegetarian or vegan food in Hanoi. Even if they have the possibility to cook vegetarian meals, they will not always do it. But again, that depends very much on the level of English. And you see all those motor scooters here, but both of us, we actually prefer to walk. No, thank you, I don't need a haircut. When we go to the city center, to the old quarter, we actually are taking the bus. And I think in all of Southeast Asia, the bus system here is probably the easiest to understand, and the buses are quite clean. It all works very fine. People told us not to do it, but it's cool. We like it. That was, I mean, it was just fried rice, but it was, oh, it's raining! But it was probably one of the best fried rice servings we ever had. We've already been to this place with Katie and Herman, two other travelers we met here in Hanoi. We miss you guys. Check out their channel, they're German travel vloggers, bloggers. Check it out. And there's one more place I like to show you that's also crucial for me when it is about living in some place long term or just for a little bit of a longer time. For some people it's hiking, for some people it's yoga, for some just stretching, others just take a walk. For me, it is a little bit different. It probably isn't too much of a city for runners because all the traffic around and the motor scooters and stuff, but there are a lot of gyms, there is a lot of opportunities to actually do sports, and especially for fighting sports if you're into that. There's also a lot of BJJ gyms and other stuff around here, so yeah. Personally, like in conclusion, it is a good city to live in. I didn't expect it to be like. You have to consider there are downsides, like for instance air quality, the traffic, sometimes the noises depending on where you're actually living. Like I already mentioned, for veggies it's probably not the best place, city, country to stay, but it's fine. Even though it feels more developed to me, plastic pollution here is actually seems to be higher than in Laos, for instance, but the awareness seems to be actually less. Still, you can find a lot of ways to stay here and to have a good time, and I have to say, Vietnamese people in the beginning, I thought they are very different than the Cambodian and Lao people and Thai people. At the beginning, they seemed a little rude to me, but they are just different in terms that they're more direct and they're a little more physical, where Thai, Lao and Cambodian people will not touch you without your own permission. They might poke you with the finger in the shoulder or maybe give you a slight push, but they're still lovely people. And you may notice the difference that people in the city center are very different from the people outside of it. Actually, that's what we realized. And this is the point where I want to talk about why it is so important and also valuable to stay in a maybe underrated place like Hanoi with not much sightseeing spots. Like you saw it in the vloggy part that I didn't show you any sightseeing spots at all, and there's not much to see here. But there is a lot of reasons to stay here. I just feel that if you have a little more time to figure a place out and to get into contact with people, I personally super enjoy it when people start to recognize my face. In the beginning, people might look a little bit strangely at you like they did with us, but with the time you're just normal, you're becoming part of the living here, and you're not so much of a tourist or traveler anymore, but just really part of the happening. And we got a little bit more of an insight of how Hanoi actually works when it's about living here, how it really works, not in the touristic part where it's all hectic and maybe even sometimes on purpose or just necessarily because of the space and place and whatnot. I just feel that it has so many upsides and that it's so interesting to stay longer with people and to really feel people, countries, places out a little more than just rushing through it and going from A to B and always on and on and on. But that's just my personal opinion. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention, like, when you're here in Hanoi, you're quite close to Saba and Katba, which are places, well, more touristic places, but they're closely related to nature. So on the one hand you have the sea, on the other hand you have the mountains. They're quite close by, not so far away, which is also awesome if you want to get out of the city, if you want to actually go and explore something. In conclusion, living in Hanoi, you have decided by yourself, but me being a Western European person, I could definitely imagine living here long term, maybe with a face mask. Except for that, it's a cool place, it's cool people here. You somehow figure out your way, even as a vegetarian, vegan, which is probably the biggest downside here. Except for air quality. Do something about that, Hanoi, Vietnam, please. That was the easy part. Here's the thing why we sorted out pictures and kind of the special announcement. I've said before, today is one day after I decided for me to end this journey.